also just want to say thanks to Coco for jumping on and doing this with us. So
I'm
I'm
so
excited.
happy. I'm so happy. I mean, I'm not going to lie. It's much more animated and fun when I can be up in front of you. And I was planning on bringing champagne and things like that, but it is what it is. And hopefully, and I mean, the group that we have on here today are already some pretty impressive people operating on social media. So a lot of the things you're kind of on here networking with us at this point, because I'm sure that you already know those things, or maybe it's something that maybe you already knew, but you haven't been doing so. It's just a good time to remember to start doing some of those things. And if there's anybody on here that can learn something that they didn't know, well, then of course, then today was a great day. So I am glad for the here with us. And thank you, Kelly. So without further ado, Kelly, do you have anything you want to say? Anything from ACAR before we get going?
Nope, I'm just appreciative to each and every one of you for showing up to the Zoom meeting, and Courtney for you for doing all the education for it. I really, really appreciate it. And I'm looking forward to what I can learn. So let's see what we got.
Well, good. Well, good. And so one last thing, just to kind of piggyback off of what John said, I know that a lot of people are cutting back, especially, canceling different subscriptions and things like that. I know we're all looking at our budgets to see what we should continue to pay for and what we shouldn't. So I know that this might not be a time that you're wanting to invest hundreds and hundreds and hundreds or thousands of dollars to RPAC. But the truth is, if it wasn't for RPAC, we wouldn't be operating right now. I have friends in Michigan and Pennsylvania that literally cannot do their jobs. I have friends that are realtors that are landscaping right now. And I'm not saying that that's not funny. Actually landscaping because they can't sell houses right now. And they need to make sure that they have money coming in. And because of Ohio Realtors and RPAC, we have the ability to continue to work, and not just you as realtors, but our industry as a whole. So with that being said, even $25 goes a long way. And just so you know, if you contribute dollars towards RPAC through ACAR, you do get invited to this really cool part. And I don't know when we're all going to be able to meet in person. That might not be for a while, but I can tell you that when it does come, that we're able to go to this party for your $100 that goes towards RPAC, the party is well worth it. The past 2 years, it's been at Michelangelo's Winery. I love it there. The food and drink are great. The people that are there are great. They're high-level people and high-minded people. And when this is all over, I'm starting a new hashtag anyway. It's going to be hashtag catch me at the wineries, because that's going to be my whole, I cannot wait to get to them. So I'm going to go ahead and put you on.
I might steal that, but catch me at the breweries.
Take it. Yes, absolutely. Because the more people that use it, and we'll talk about that, but yeah, catch me at the wineries. I don't care if I have to go sit in them 6 feet away from everyone. I'll shout. I'm good at shouting. So I am going to go ahead and put everyone. Please know that I am encouraging, and we are encouraging people to talk and everything. Feel free to, hello, Bethy, unmute yourself, chime in, mute yourself back. We're only muting you to keep the feedback and stuff like that, not because we don't want to hear what you have to say, because we do. All right, we're going to go ahead and move over into my Facebook page. And I really pray to God that nobody starts private messaging me. That has happened before. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started with this very, very quickly. I'm looking at who's on here. And again, I think that you're all operating at a very high level, but this is a good time because you might not have a ton happening to just go ahead and take a look at your profile picture. Something newer, something more current, not something from 1980s, which again, not for this call, but I'm so used to saying that. So something kind of newer. Same thing for your cover photo. Cover photo can have you in it. It can be something sort of just really about who you are. Let people know who you are. They don't see it when they're scrolling, but when they're coming to check you out, it's nice to have something that kind of lets them see a little bit of a deeper look inside of you. If you haven't changed it in a while, now's a great time to kind of take a look at that and see if it's something you want to change. But I want to point out this, this bio area of your page. If you have not taken a look at this lately or updated it, there's a lot of reasons why you would want to do that. By actually linking in these other pages, it's going to change the way the algorithms work and who you're connected to on Facebook. And so people will say, well, why would you put this here? I promise you that I am proud. I didn't put it there just to brag. But when people search this page on Facebook, my name will come up in the searches after it. And then anybody else that has this kind of tagged in too, Facebook will see that we have a connection. So I may be more likely to see their posts and them to see mine. So if you are on a board, perhaps even YPN, going ahead and putting yourself, and you can create your own title. So putting yourself as a committee member and then tagging the YPN page, that's a great idea to do. If you're involved in other things as well, you might want to consider listing them there also. If your company's name is not listed as where you work, that's a big problem, because when we get into the part about Facebook groups and friend requests and things like that, people are going to want to check out where you are. And if they can't really clearly see it, that's a problem. A lot of realtors will put just their business page there. You can, but I think that you're going to get more bang for your buck if you put your actual brokerage's name here and then actually list the page that you manage down below. And I'll show you how to do that when we start talking about pages. Because then not only will your page be right in there, and then they can click that very, let's see, we'll go ahead and admit somebody, then they can click on that very easily, but then you're going to get the pull in the algorithm from the main brokerage page that you're associated with. So if you went to college, you know, I want to do loans for everybody that I went to college with. Definitely want that there, especially for the sake of being in groups that we're going to talk a lot about. Putting where you went to high school, where you live, and where you're from is important for people to understand where you're from in the community. And you can see how everything's hyperlinked. So it all connects to the pages. If you're not getting the hyperlink when you're adding these things, then you didn't do it correctly. Certain colleges and cities may have multiple pages associated to them. So you want to pick the one that is truly authentic and that has a ton of stuff happening, not the one that is, you know, has 2 likes or whatever. So we know that this is the authentic Akron Cleveland Association of Realtors page. So it's a good time to go ahead and update your bio and make sure that you have as much information as possible. You know, if you don't want to go back 20 years and start putting in where you worked at Arby's in high school and things like that, that's not necessarily going to do you any good. I do like to bring up the fact that having more friends than less friends definitely helps. Obviously, everyone's capped out at 5,000. So at some point, once I started getting over 3, started getting selective, I do open up my friends and take a look and make sure that it's not, you know, some weird situation. So like this person automatically, I don't know, that person's getting deleted. I don't know who this guy is. So let's see, he works at a financial education service in Toledo. I don't know, I might come back to him. We do have 10 mutual friends, but like as of right now, he's honestly not getting added. Let's see, this person and I have mutual friends. What does she do? So again, this is important for having your information accurate, because other people are doing this as well, checking you out to see where you're from. So I don't know what this person does. We have a couple mutual friends. I'm not sure. I might come back to her. So truthfully, when I open people up and I can clearly see that I either know them, I've met them, or that they have a reason, there's a reason that we should be connected and that I want them to see what I'm posting, and vice versa. For example, if they listed that they were a realtor or somebody in our industry and I could clearly see that they are, I would go ahead and add that person. So I've got a lot of friend requests. I'll probably go ahead and take this time to go through and clean them out, maybe later this week. But so you want to kind of be purposeful. I've heard some realtors say, well, I don't add other realtors to my Facebook because I don't want them to see what I'm doing. Yeah, so nothing that any of us are really doing is that unique that anybody's going to copy or really steal from you. Everything that we all do is sort of duplicatable. Nobody's ever going to exactly be you. It's all the personal touches that are going to make who you are. It's actually nice to see what other realtors are doing. It's nice to see what other people are doing, whether it's locally or across the country. And yes, sometimes we do take a play on those things. And sometimes, yes, they'll take a play from us. And sometimes we'll see things that we don't want to do and we don't want our things to look like, or that we didn't think worked well. So we can definitely learn from one another. And don't you want to be friends with other realtors? It sure does make it nice when you're in transactions with them to say like, oh, hey, I know, you've got a little one, or, oh, I know you like tennis, or whatever it may be. It really kind of cuts the cold off of it. And it's not as much of a cold transaction when you've never laid eyes on this person because you on social media. So we're going to go ahead and just admit some more people and move off of the friend part. Okay, so let's actually take a look and see what's happening. So we're going to go ahead and scroll through. Obviously, today I shared this event. I've got friends that tag me in posts. You can go ahead and turn your settings on if you want to have, if you want to approve them to be on your page, or closely monitor your page to see if there's things on your page that you don't want people to see. I do like to kind of keep it somewhat professional. We are going to come back to this particular post. I used this as an engagement post yesterday so that we could talk about it today in the class. I can't see all of your faces, but if you know what an engagement post is, this one worked really well. If you don't know what an engagement post is, today is your day. But if you can see, like, not every single thing that I post, and some videos, some of them are live. I do some canned videos as well. A lot of pictures of my daughter, sometimes food, sometimes businesses, my dog, things like that. So not everything that I post is about loans. I think if I posted about interest rates and things like that every single day, people would probably unfollow me very, very quickly. But it's the same, because as a realtor, if you start just posting nothing but your listings and nothing but the houses that you have for sale, that ever-growing friends list that you've cultivated so nicely is going to turn into people unfollowing you. Back in the old days, a couple years ago, people just used to delete and block. And now that you have this option to unfollow, it kind of saves the whole uncomfortable feeling of when you see people at the grocery store, like, why'd you delete me, right? So unless they really don't like you, then they'll probably maybe delete you. And if they hate your guts, right, then you're probably going to get the block. Usually that happens over politics and things like that, but we'll talk about why that's never a good idea. But the unfollow, so if they really just get sick of seeing your stuff, they're probably going to snooze you or unfollow you, and then you lose the whole traction of them seeing the things that you want them to see. So it's important to follow what we call the 80-20 rule. So 80% of the time, you want to give people things on your page that are things that are for them, things that they might be interested in seeing, and then keeping the other 20% of the time things for you, meaning things you want them to see, and that's usually going to be about your business. But in order to get people to really, really, really see those posts, you have to really kind of strike up some good engagement. So whenever I know I've got something really important about loans, or something that I want to talk about that's really important, I'll do a whipping post or an engagement post, usually about 24 to 48 hours in advance. Kelsey, you're laughing at me. Do you want to share anything you know about whipping posts? No? Okay, because I feel like...
Nope, you're good. I'm loving it.
Okay. So usually, so for example, if I'm going to do a broker's open and I know I'm going to host a broker's open with somebody, I want to make sure that as many people on my friends list see it as possible. I am friends with a ton of realtors, so I know my audience is different than probably maybe some other people's. So the majority of my friends list is realtors, although I do have some consumers on there as well. So if I'm getting ready to do a broker's open, or if I've got some really breaking news about interest rates or things like that with loans, 24 to 48 hours beforehand, I'm going to do a whipping post. This is the one I did yesterday. So I got this picture. I got it from somebody else, probably in a group. I saw it on Facebook. I hadn't seen it a million. I liked, because if you pick one that really everybody else is already doing, then it's kind of played out. So this one seemed kind of fresh because I hadn't seen it a million times from any of my friends. I saw it a couple times, and so I thought that wasn't too much considering I have like 3,200 friends. So I'm kind of bougie a little bit. I liked that there was some champagne in here. She looks cute, and I knew that if I sat really like right here in my house, I could have everything to recreate this photo. And so my call to action was, please play along, let me see your picture, and mine is in the comments. Went ahead and used just kind of very simple hashtags, quarantine. Everyone's using quarantine right now because that's where we're at. A little bit of a younger demographic, especially for those that are really into the TikTok trend right now. Board in the house is a huge trending situation on TikTok. So If you're there, you understand it. And then champs is the trending hashtag for people under 40 who like to drink champagne or anything bubbly. So let's go ahead and see what happens in the comments. So I put this call to action, and not only do I have some really, really fun people in my friends list, but you get 136 comments. And not that I want you to judge your whole entire life by your likes and your loves and your comments and your shares, right? Because that can get really tedious, and that's why some people honestly need some mental help. But from a business standpoint, if you do take a look at some of these things and monitor them from time to time, you can see that probably not all of your posts on Facebook are going to get this type of reaction. So by asking for my friends to do something, I'm going to get that engagement that I need. And when Facebook sees engagement in the form of this engagement post, I become important to all of these people in the comments in the liking section, and I build up a stronger sort of presence for the things that I'm going to post over the next 24 to 48 hours. So we'll go ahead and open up some of these comments just because honestly, it's fun. So you can see what happens. People play along. I don't know what happened here. People play along, and they go ahead and, they start putting their little annotations to it. They start liking my little situation in my little picture. And I get a lot of action on my actual picture. People are laughing at it. They think it's funny. It is funny. My kids actually hated the lipstick. They handed me a paper towel when it was all over and made me wipe it off, but I thought it added something a little extra and special. So if you notice, there's a lot of people that are posting their pictures in the comments, which obviously made it very, very fun, not only for me, but for the people who were playing along, and honestly, anybody that wanted to come to the post to take a look. And you can see that each and every single one of the little photos inside the comments has its own action happening. Like it actually has, I'm just plugging in my computer. Each one of the little, I'm sorry about that. I didn't realize it was unplugged. Each one of the little pictures inside the comments has its own little situation of people liking it and reacting to it, which only helps the engagement that much more. So it's really sort of genius, but because by asking them to post a picture and to play along, each and every comment gets its own sort of little whip or following, if you will. So as you scroll through, please take notice that not only are people participating and the other people in the thread are participating, but I'm going in and reacting with each one of the people. So that's all part of it, right? I'm asking people to do something, but I'm engaging back with them. So the last thing you want to do is post something on Facebook and then have a bunch of people comment and then not engage with them back, because that defeats the whole purpose of it being engagement, because that's how Facebook detects the relationships, is the going back and forth. So for every single person that posted a picture, obviously, I mean, they took the time to do it. So I'm going to thank them and say something and give them a reaction. But you want to do that for every person that comments on one of your engagement posts. Now, I understand that you can't sit there every single day and monitor every single post that you post. Maybe at the end of the day or at the beginning of the day, the next day, you can time back some time to go in and re-engage with those people. But if you're doing it for the sole purpose of an engagement post, you really need to go through and actually engage back with those people. So this was a really fun one. Has anybody seen these type of posts on Facebook, and do you kind of like understand them? Why? Understand why? So like, do you guys know, like, direct marketing salespeople? They're really known, especially, people who are selling yogas and shakes and things like this. They belong to groups that basically mass produce different whipping posts or engagement posts. And so you'll start to see those posts on Facebook and you're going to be like, oh, I know what that is. Like, what's your favorite Disney princess? Leave me a GIF in the comments. That's all so that they can have engagement with their friends list and continue to be seen for the items that they're getting ready to sell. So it's the same concept for us. We're just not selling leggings, we're selling real estate. So you can be as authentic with your whipping posts as possible. And if you want to do something a little corny like the one that I did and just steal a picture from somewhere, I mean, definitely it worked out to my advantage because I have quite a bit of engagement on this one. Another idea for a whipping post would be just asking a question, right? What's the number one way to get somebody to comment on a post and that would be to ask a question. People love to tell you what to do. I will say just very, very quickly, you know, you're putting yourself out there to be an expert. So be careful with some of the questions you ask. You want to still look like an expert. So maybe the question would be, we've got a babysitter tonight. Obviously this is pre and post quarantine, but we've got a babysitter tonight looking to, you know, we want to go out for steak somewhere new, somewhere downtown, like, you know, where's a good place for us to go? That was for you and Drew and Beth. Where's a good place to go? People love to tell you where to go. People want to tell you where to go. And what's really cool is that you can make that be an engagement post, but then we can turn that into a content post, and then eventually turn it into a review. So let's go ahead and move over into that section of content. So I'm going to come up to the search bar, and I'm actually going to search a hashtag, and it is support local. This is a really big, commonly used trending hashtag. People love supporting local. They loved supporting, I just want to make sure I spelled it right. People loved supporting local before, and they really are wanting to support local now. So notice up across the top, so this only is on your laptop. If you were on your cell phone, this would be off to the side. I do tell people though that between this right here on the left and this bar up on the top, I can do better work than the FBI because I can actually sort everything through posts from anyone. Okay, I can narrow it down. I can narrow it down from city. If I remember that I saw something, but I can't remember who, I can find it by searching and using the dates and the locations and things like this all off to the side. So if you want to take my FBI class, that's a whole other series. Anyway, by going up on top, we're going to and support local. Let's go ahead and see some of the posts that were posted using that hashtag. I specifically want to see mine. Your own are always going to come up first, then your friends, then you'll come down to the public. You can only see posts that are public. So if yours are not, nobody but your friends will find them. So if you're using hashtags and you have a Facebook page that's locked down like Fort Knox, unlock it. You have to use some sort of common sense when posting on Facebook. If you don't want people to find you to kill you, you're posting addresses where you're going to be all the time anyway. So using some common sense and using, you know, the safety things that you learned during realtor safety for open houses, brokers opens, and things like that. I mean, there are some things like when you're dropping your kids off, you know, you're not going to post the address of where I'm dropping my kid off and things like that. I know we have a little bit of a more modern group on here, and so probably most of you are already public, but in the past I've had people in my class who said they would never have anything public, but they send out postcards to where they're going to be on Sunday and advertise where they're going to be on and Tuesdays all the time, so it doesn't really make hashtags don't work unless you're public. So, and we're going to get into hashtags here in just a second. So support local. I use this hashtag all the time in conjunction with shop local, be local. I'm going to go ahead and open up this post because it's one of my favorite little places. So this is not about loans. This is not about real estate. So this is going to be considered a content post, something for my friends and the people in my feed to kind of see and colorful. You notice I don't have more than 5 pictures. Anytime people have to start clicking to see more, sometimes they don't. People do like to scroll. People are very instant gratification when it comes to social media. Doesn't mean I don't post albums and share tons of pictures sometimes, because I do, just not for these particular posts. So let's go ahead and look up at the top. You can see that I've checked into the location. So by checking into the location gets notified that I checked in. Additionally, my friends who are reading this post can now see this page and click on it for themselves to decide if they'd like to check it out. So sweet treats from my love, check it out. I also tagged them inside the page, by using the @ symbol. And the reason I like to talk about that is because it's important to know to use the @ symbol when tagging in business pages, especially if you're not checking into them. So I did a double whammy on this one because, again, you'd be surprised. People will say, well, where is this place? So, oh, you know, well, just by hovering over it, you know, there's the page right there. So I went ahead and I used this hashtag. The reason I used it is because it's not a trending hashtag, and I want to show you what happens when I click on it. So when I click, okay, so evidently people have started using it. So people are using that hashtag. You don't win friends with salad. So we'll go ahead and give some kudos to our girl over here at the chocolate place. Anyway, I'll show you other hashtags that aren't being used. So you don't win friends with salad. It was a little picture that she had on the back here because she's a chocolate place. So I went ahead and put that on there. Shop local, be local, and support local are all part of a story. Okay. When you click on This Is Clee, because this is a Cleveland business, you can see when we come over into posts, not just myself, but that there's all these other people using that hashtag. That's what you want. You want to use hashtags that other people are using because you want to be found and you want to become a story, and you want all of your information to be where everybody else's information is. It's all a part of being found. Hello, Christine. Welcome to the group. So you can very quickly go ahead. You see, we've still got This Is Clee up in the top. So you can search them by typing in up at the top or by clicking on them. So if they're not blue, then you didn't do them correctly. So you'll want to go back and edit them. I like to go ahead and search the photo section because very quickly I can see exactly what people are talking about. And then if I want to know more, I'll click on the photo to actually open up the posts. Videos is one of my favorite too. I love watching different videos. I find some really great information by searching hashtags. If my friends are sharing things with hashtags, I'll click on them and then scroll through and see what type of videos are posted. So using hashtags that are actually purposeful are great. Now you notice I didn't use all of my fairway hashtags for this because it really doesn't relate to what I'm doing as far as loans are concerned. It doesn't mean that I won't ever throw in my Keeping Up with Coco or some of my fairway stuff if I'm talking about things and it makes sense, but it doesn't make sense for me to add them in here. So this is just something I wanted to share so that I could basically tell a story. So I took a picture. I just used my iPhone. I'm not a professional photographer. Took a picture. You can see the front of the business, little street, the salad sign. The candies are really kind of bright and beautiful. But this is kind of fun too, because when people are scrolling, they can very quickly, without having to do much work, and obviously we're not on our cell phone, so I'm going to have to play. But this is a canned video. And so for canned videos, something very simple just to show what's happening inside of your content, totally different than a live video or where you're talking. See, I'm not in this video. You don't see my face. You don't hear me talking. I'm just giving everybody a look of inside of where I was. So it's something meant to be very, very quick. And to tell the story that I'm telling. So the interesting thing about sharing this post is that, once I checked in and let this business owner know that I was there, she gets a notification that I've checked in. She now comments in the comments, and her and I begin to engage in the comments. So while I was there, I introduced myself. I told her who I was, what I did for a living, let her know I was going to take a video so I didn't look like a weirdo, videoing the candy and everything. Hey, I'm just going to take a picture of this really quick for Facebook. So she knew exactly who I was. So this is a great way to build relationships out in the community too, because you're introducing yourself. They love the fact that you're sharing their information and their business on Facebook. So they're thankful for that. And again, should you go back to this business, over time and things like that, you now have a relationship with another small business owner, and you yourself are a business owner, and you yourself are local. And so these types of stories are great because it gives you something to talk about on Facebook other than real estate. It also shows you as a neighborhood expert or a community expert or, a Cleveland expert, whatever that may be. For some of you, it's Akron, wherever you may be. I'm all over. I'm not just the city that I live in. I'm not just Summit County. I really am all over the place. So some of my posts will show my travels all across Northern Ohio, which is fun because we don't always only go in our backyard, right? Sometimes I get in my car, I'll drive an hour to go see something. And so being able to have this, right here, I love when my friends share posts like this as well. So this would be one of the content posts. Let's go ahead and go back. I'm going to go ahead. Support local. Let's come to posts. So you can see as I'm going through, we can see some realtors that we already know are kind of jumping in and supporting local as well, because I can see their posts right here. Those are realtors that I know. This was a fun place. Has anybody ever been to this CLE Urban Winery? It was really fun. I was planning on having a networking event there, but maybe next year. So same thing, just really kind of quick and easy photographs. I'm not an expert. I have an iPhone, something very, very quick and easy. As long as they're not blurry, it's great. And if you can do kind of a quick canned video to kind of really enhance it, and then make sure that you're using hashtags that actually take you somewhere. And the reason I'm saying this is because I see people use hashtags like hashtag I feel crazy today or whatever it may be, and they just sort of don't make sense. I guess if you want to be cheeky every once in a while and do that, it's not going to kill anything. But when you are writing up these content posts and highlighting other businesses and things like that, you do want to be purposeful with the tags that you're using. So in this one, I use hashtag, Cleveland Heights, Old Grapes. Obviously, it's a winery. Their winery. Wine Time is a very popular hashtag. Let's just go ahead and click on it to see what happens when I click on Wine Time. I certainly use this hashtag all the time. So let's just go over here to photos so we can see quickly what people are posting about when they use that hashtag. Wine. But so you can see, you can type it up in the top. You can type it up in the top and then you can click on them. Who's got hashtags that they use for their business? Can we just show of hands? So we're just talking about hashtags in general right now. I'd like to kind of move it over into actual hashtags for business. So I just want to put the grand scheme of things together for you. I work for a large company. My large company, same as your brokerage, is going to have their own hashtag, right? So anybody from my company that's going to be talking about our company is going to use the hashtag Fairway Nation. So this is people all across the country. So my stuff is now going to go into this same folder with all of their stuff. And honestly, I come here a lot of times to borrow content from some of my friends that work at my company. So the same thing, if you're searching a hashtag or you're clicking on a hashtag, remember to go in and actually explore the things that are tied to that in the form of videos, photos, perhaps other pages, and maybe even groups, because some brokerages might have different people creating groups that you could join that you wouldn't know about if you didn't actually search for them. So a part of my branding when using hashtags, so it's not just for branding, but a combination of branding and then to be found on a bigger level, I'll always start with my Fairway Nation hashtag. But I don't just work at Fairway Nation, right? I mean, I do, but I'm also me. And so because of that, I also do my hashtag. I do loan closings and I teach classes. So we'll go ahead and say closing with Coco. So that's my personal self. So let's say, for example, if you work at a brokerage, let's say you work at EXP and your hashtag is hashtag EXP. If that's not your hashtag, you know what it is, your hashtag. And then perhaps you have your own personal one, Kelsey the Realtor. Is that it? I think that's it. So she might have hashtag EXP and then hashtag her personal tag. And then if you're on a team, one step further and go ahead and get your team's hashtag in there. And I would use all three of them anytime you're actually talking about business. Let's go ahead and open this up. So I'm going to show you a post where I was actually talking about work and why I used all the hashtags that I did. Okay, so I was actually at my work convention. And so the hashtag for the convention that was a very, very widely used hashtag for the whole year of 2020, which means everybody and anybody was using it, great idea, was 2020 Vision. So I tagged that in there. If you click on 2020 Vision, people from all over the place for the whole, from December until now, they're using it too. So it's a great way to be found. I took a visual picture. Posts with pictures do get more engagement. People like that candy. It gives them something tangible to look at. People don't necessarily like to read as much, kind of sad sometimes, but that is the way of Facebook, depending on what you're talking about. So I used my large brand. My company also has a couple other hashtags that we use just to really develop that brand. They do tell a little bit of a story. So again, if your brokerage has that same thing, use them. I know several brokerages that are using several hashtags as well. And you definitely do tell a story. And when you click on them, they do take me to places where other people who are talking about that story are there as well. And then I've got my closing with Coco because that's my personal situation. I did check into a location while I was there. You know, anytime you can check in somewhere, tag a buddy, you know, please don't go through and just start tagging a bunch of random people in your posts. They'll probably untag themselves. And be annoyed with you. If it's meaningful, if you're working on something with someone, if you're creating an event with someone, if you're in a group with someone, you know, then obviously, yes, tag them, but don't just tag people for the sake of their friends list seeing your post, because they're probably going to untag themselves and then you wasted your time tagging all of those people anyway. All right, let's come down and let me show you what happens when you use your hashtags and also tag in business pages. So for example, I'm on my personal Facebook. I'm not on my business page. I'm on my personal, and I have used some hashtags to kind of describe what I'm doing there. You can see my brand is behind me. And not only have I done the hashtags that are a part of my brand that I use over and over again, but I've also tagged in my own business page. You see how when I hover over it, you can actually see the business page. So you do that by using the @ symbol. Why do I tag them in? Well, it's important for my branding to make sure that people see them over and over again. And when I do tag them in, over time, naturally, they continue to get views and likes. So if I, you know, tag them when I'm talking about business, again, not just if I'm at the gas station, but when I'm talking about business, if I tag in my business pages, other people will see them and they may click on them. I'm getting additional views and hopefully over time, additional likes on them as well. And then of course, for my branding, this helps with it all. So remember when you're tagging, when you're doing your business post, to tag in your business page as well. Now, if you are having content on your business page, a great just to share your business page posts directly over to your personal page so that people can actually see them. Many times the things that you're posting on your own business page aren't going to be seen unless you're sponsoring those ads. I just want to talk about groups very quickly, and we're going to open it up for some questions, okay? Anybody in here belong to any Facebook groups? Okay, yep. So I love Facebook groups. I love Facebook group. So I created some of my own a few years ago, and the reason that I did that is because I really and truly knew that they were going to be something so much more. And they are. And so these have become a really great way for me to connect with people, especially in my community. I'm a community champion. I love doing loans in my neighborhood and all of the surrounding areas. I'm assuming that you all love selling houses, probably where you came from, etc. A couple things I want you to take note of is that every single group has its own rules. So you want to go ahead over to the files section and actually open it up and read the group's rules. Some of them will tell you real estate. Some have just some other rules that you need to follow. Not everybody is as nice of an admin. Do not kill people or block them or torture them or embarrass them in my group, although I've heard that many other groups act that way. So once you get kind of deleted or your stuff's deleted, then you don't have access to being able to post in that group. So you don't want to lose sort of that ability to do so. The buy-sell trade groups, some of them will let you sell real estate in them. Some of them don't. I allow that in my group because obviously, people actually look for houses on Facebook because sometimes they don't know any better. It's just easier. They're just sitting there. So they're looking for realtors and things like that on Facebook. So it's a great way to be able to be in front of people. So to buy, sell, trade, the only reason I bring this one up, I get annoyed sometimes because I'm not selling like $2 pairs of underwear all day, every day. As the admin, I do get a lot of notifications. What I'm really most concerned about is when people are selling houses. I like to look in the comments and see the action that's happening, and people start asking for mortgage lenders, or if there's realtors, you know, hopping on that I don't know. I like to kind of figure out who they are or see what's happening in my neighborhood. So buy, sell, trade, again, you're going to see tons and tons of posts every day, especially if it's a one. And this one's got like 10,000 members. So, you know, you're going to see a lot of stuff. So you might want to turn the notifications off and then go back and actually do a search of the group to see if there's anything in there that you might want. So I don't allow chat in this one because I have a group for chat. So if we're probably not going to get anything because the admins have probably deleted it all. So the only time that you'll be able to have a post in this group would be if you're actually posting a house for sale or for rent that's in our neighborhood, in our community. So you can see there are lots of realtors who are using that as an opportunity, which I think is great. So if you have those type of groups in your neighborhood, it is great too. So buy, sell, trade ones. And then as an admin, I mean, I kind of get the added little situation of I post in there whenever I want, and I do videos and lots of people watch them and things like that. So, you know, if I'll go to like the Walmart in Macedonia, people will be like, oh my God, you're the crazy Facebook lady. I'm like, oh, crazy. Had to throw that in there, huh? Talk of the town. So with that, I connect all of my groups together. And so this is something for you to do. Search in your top bar, you know, search by like a city name and a chat, or a city name and discuss it, and see what groups are out there in your neighborhood. So this is a chat group, so people can ask questions and do referrals and stuff like that all the time. So again, you know, I post videos and talk to people inside of them. But what I would suggest, because you don't want to spend hours and hours and hours and hours on Facebook just scrolling through groups, is to use the search feature on your laptop. It's here. If you're on your cell phone, you'll search inside the group up top here. But go ahead and search for the word realtor. So you could just do this once a day, once a week, see if there's anybody that you might want to engage with. So I just went ahead and searched the word realtor, and we can see people posting, looking to complete my real estate courses. That's me. Looking for an interior decorator, someone who does it on the side. Okay. So see, these are people that you might want to engage with. These are people that you might be able to help. So it's important to know that you can find people and make those connections in these groups. It's important to say that you can be a member in this group and be a contributor in your local groups and really make friends that way. So you've got a friends list of 3,500, right? Let's say you're maxed out at 5,000. You can't get any more friends. If you join a group that has 6,000 to 9,000 people, this is a whole new audience of people that you can engage with. So again, reading the group's rules to know what's permitted and not permitted. If you know of breakfasts with Santas and Easter bunny stuff, or virtual bingos and things that are happening in the neighborhood, you can be the person to share them. And then furthermore, as people see your posts and see you as this expert, you can now engage with them in the comments, and people will remember your name. And over time, you've now made these Facebook relationships, and because they know you're a realtor, when it comes time for them to need your services, you become top of mind, especially if you're a nice person in the group. And I know that this sounds like it should just be common sense, but I've seen realtors that I know in these groups being mean, and you're not winning any friends that way. So if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. Keep scrolling. But when you have something positive to share, whether it's in the comments or in the form of your own content inside of these type of groups, I mean, people love that kind of stuff. And I hear from people all the time that they've actually made friends inside this group, and that they've met up with them and gone out with them, and that they've done business with them, because there's people that are looking for recommendations. And that's the other thing too. You know people as a business person that you can recommend. Don't you love when people refer you business? I do. And so there's some really great business people that I'm connected with, that if I see someone's looking for a referral, I know I'm going to give that person's name and phone number, all of it. I'm going to tag them, which you can't be tagged in a group if you're not in it. I might tag them. They won't get a notification, but the person who's asking will be able to view their profile. I'll also go in and tag their business page, so that person who's looking for the recommendation can actually see their business page. And if I've got their cell phone number in my phone, I'll just type it out right there, because that lets the person know, like, wow, she's really recommending them. I'm not just tagging somebody, I'm really giving a nice recommendation. And the people in your sphere that you refer business to, they will be very grateful and probably return the favor with referrals to you. So I use these type of groups as a way to be able to help other people with my referrals, but to really help the people sort of in my referral network. Oh, there's Mia. Is Mia on here? I just saw Mia. I was like, well, wait, no, she's not on this one. But so there's lots of things that you can do inside of these groups, and especially if they are some of these local groups that have thousands of people, but that are really hyper local, you can really become that known as a realtor and be that community champion. If you're not asking for reviews on your Facebook business page, now's the time to start doing it. You don't really have that much other stuff happening right now. If you don't have a ton of reviews, at least having some reviews on Facebook will get you some of that search engine optimization. So when people search you on Google, it's going to take them to your Facebook page. So they'll have to actually log into Facebook or click through that link, but it gives them something to see. So you can specifically ask people to give you a very nice review or a 5-star review on Facebook by sending them a link to your page. They can do that. And everybody in their friends list will be notified that they reviewed you. Additionally, if you are visiting restaurants and things like that, if you're visiting restaurants, again, being careful with what you say, because everything kind of comes back to us. It's like social media karma. You know, we've all seen the people who put those real horrible, like bashing posts out there on Facebook. I would say it's definitely, you're right. If you have a horrible business, a situation with a business, to reach out to them and get your situation rectified. But people remember when you get really dog dirty on Facebook, and sometimes it doesn't feel so nice. But so if you have been at a business and they were wonderful and you've got some really great, you know, glowing reviews to give them, again, that business will really appreciate that, especially if you go in there all the time. They will love that. It's a great, nice thing to do. But again, it gives all those people in your news feed, it gives them that notification that you've done a review, which again is just more exposure for people that you might not be engaging with on a regular basis to see what you're up to. Last but not least, so this is the review section. So you see where you can do reviews on a business page. You would just click the review button and write a nice review. But if you go live on Facebook, when you go live on Facebook, every time you go live, your friends list is going to get a notification that you're live. So I would share those moments for things that you really want to make sure that people see. It's a great opportunity for them to see your face, to hear your voice, and to hear the message that you have. And it's a great way, canned versus live. Live, they get the notification. Now there's still a place for canned videos. Those are beautiful too, especially if you're doing the quick little snippets as a part of content, or if you're doing those more commercial or like video tours and things like that. Those are great canned videos too, but lives will also give you the notification. So let's go ahead and get everybody unmuted here. Unmute.
We
So
could
we have
just unmute ourselves when
say
we're
something to me.
talking, because there's a lot of reverb.
Is there? Okay, I'm going to mute you. And then I just need somebody to promise to unmute themselves and say something to me very quickly, please. We have chats.
I have a question. Can you hear me?
I do.
Okay, hi, this is Gwen Petway. And I just actually typed the question in the chat box, but should we have two pages, a business and a personal? Hello?
I think Courtney is frozen.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
Courtney froze.
I can jump onto this answer while
Sure.
she's freezing. I highly recommend yes, because what you can do is you can get different traffic for each one. With your business page, you can really filter it to being more about your business and then adding in your personal, kind of like that 80-20 rule. And then with your personal, 80% personal, 20% business, things you want them to see, you really kind of get to share between the two of them, I think, a lot more and get a lot more interaction that way. And like she was saying, people don't want to just see you're just listed and under contracts and sold all the time either. So having that business platform to use is also really helpful.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Is she unfrozen? See, I think she had to jump off and get back on, it looks like.
Yeah, it looks like she disappeared momentarily here.
We can still get some more questions going then and answer each other our thoughts.
I have a lot of questions. So this is Gwen again, regarding the hashtags. So I don't do that a lot. And so I learned a lot with that, but I'm also curious as to what are they, what do they mean, what's the purpose kind of thing.
If anyone else wants to answer, they're more than welcome to, or I can jump in again. Oh, Courtney's back.
I'm so sorry. I didn't hear your question. I obviously had some type of weird internet situation, so my deepest apologies. So you want to have both. You need to have a Facebook page for your business as well as your personal page. And what you're doing every day on Facebook should be on your personal page. You know, really and truly, if you're not posting on your Facebook page every day or multiple times a day, you're probably not going to get a lot of engagement. And I know that it's hard. So you want to start with at least posting once every morning, get yourself to posting once every morning and every evening, getting yourself up to a point where you're posting basically breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You want to post 3 times a day. That's give you the maximum amount of engagement on your Facebook personal, and then keeping your business content, you can have that on a business page, but you want to get that over to your personal page so that you can get the engagement that you're looking for from your friends list.
Okay.
Now, there was another question that I heard, something about knowing what to do or when to use them. What was that in? It was from you, Gwen. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay, that's okay. I'm sorry. No, I was actually asking about the hashtag. So, you know, I've learned a lot with that, just looking at, you know, going through your page, but, you know, I didn't really know what they were, you know, what was the purpose. And I, you know, I've seen like the quarantine and things like that. I thought that was a good idea, but what are they?
Okay, so hashtags, they really work by creating these subfolders of places on each different platform so that everything that's a part of that story can be found all in one place. So it's important to know that the hashtags that you use on Facebook do not talk to Instagram or Snapchat or LinkedIn or anywhere else, right? They're only there. So they're only there. But however, if you were to type a hashtag in Google, it will bring you to all the different platforms where you can go and actually find that hashtag. But if you were on Instagram, are you on Instagram?
Yeah.
We'll just keep it to Facebook.
But I don't know.
So if you're on Facebook, when other people use hashtags, you can click on them, because if you're interested in what they're talking about in their posts and you want to see a bigger picture of this and other people are saying about that story, you would click on the hashtag, and then you can see who else is posting about it, what they're saying, what they're talking about, view those photos and those videos so you can understand that story that much more. But they do also help with your brand, because when you're posting them over and over again and people see those words, Kelsey, the realtor, over and over and over again. Like I don't work for Kelsey. I'm not on her team, but I know that's her hashtag because I see it. And so it's top of mind. And then if I were to buy a house from Kelsey, you know, when the day that I get my keys, I'm probably going to use the hashtag, like, thank you to my realtor, hashtag Kelsey the realtor. And the more people using hashtags, that's when they go trending or become viral. So what you want is lots of people in your network to be using your hashtag. So the easiest way to get that started is by using your broker's hashtag. Because to say, if you work for a large brokerage, everybody in your brokerage is probably using that hashtag, right? So your personal hashtag isn't going to be used by the whole world. It's probably just going to be used by you. And in time, you're going to use it over and over again, adding information to that story about you as the realtor. I like to use the big national hashtags too, like when we're talking about stuff for the board. I always use hashtag ACAR. Always use, and again, not in every post, not when I'm out eating spaghetti, but when I'm talking about things that I'm doing at the board, you know, hashtag ACAR, hashtag YPN, ACAR, hashtag home for all. That's ACAR's hashtag. It's our mission, hashtag home for all. But NAR, they have their own hashtags too. So hashtag NAR. And so if you want your story to get dumped in with stories that realtors across our country are telling, NAR is using hashtags like who we are. And the R stands for the realtor R. Who we are. So if you're doing things on a scale where you're talking about real estate and you want your stuff to be, you know, in that bigger pool of other stories with people across the country, who we are, and that does tell a story. You know, I mean, they didn't just pull that hashtag out of the air. They probably thought about it. It makes sense. It tells a story of who we are. And the other hashtag that they're using is, does anybody know it besides me?
Stay home, maybe?
And come on, John Luke, you know the other hashtag from NAR. It's more than houses. More than houses. So let's think about this. So if you're hashtag NAR, hashtag who we are, hashtag more than houses, hashtag realtor John Luke. Okay, I just made that one up. You know, that all tells us
Tag list with Luke.
to the person that's looking. And then furthermore, if they click on them, they can see the bigger part of the story that you are trying to tell. And then of course, if you've got friends, especially like John, you know, you're a part of YPN locally, you go to things when you get to the Ohio Realtors Convention, you make friends with YPNs across Ohio and across the country. They're using those hashtags too. You can find their things very quickly, and they can find yours by using those hashtags. So it's important to know what the associations, the groups, the other companies, what hashtags they're using as a part of the brand, talking about those things to use those hashtags. But it's also a great time to think about what hashtags you're using for yourself and then consistently using them. You know, if you type it in and you're going very quick and you, that NAR follows, okay, hang on. I got a comment here from, I can personally tell you that NAR does follow their own hashtags and will occasionally find and like your posts when you tag them. You know, and that's fun too. So when you tag a business page and you use those hashtags and you see that NAR or whoever it is, the Cleveland Magazine, for example, or Crane's List, or any of these other types of things that we might be talking about, when they come in and like your posts and engage with your posts, I mean, it's kind of a fun day. You know, when there's certain things like in my industry, like when we win the Scotsman Guide or we get named different things and I tag that business page and use their hashtag, like the moment that the Scotsman Guide comes in and says, congratulations, I'm like, yes, you just get so excited. And so you want to know the hashtags that you should be using and then using them correctly. And then there are times to use broad and general hashtags to be put into an even bigger pool. I think for today, everyone needs to really be aware because of the industry that we're in. Hashtag NAR, hashtag who we are, hashtag more than houses, hashtag ACAR, hashtag YPN ACAR, and hashtag home for all. Does anybody use text replacement on their iPhone so they don't ever have to type these? So I don't ever type hashtags, especially because we were saying if you type them wrong, and then they don't tag, or if you do a typo, then it defeats the whole purpose because it has to be the same thing over and over again. Facebook doesn't recognize typos, so it won't take anybody there. It'll take them to nowhere. I use on my cell phone, I go into settings, I go into keyboards, and if you go into keyboards, there's a plus sign where you can add a keyboard. You type in your shortcut. The shortcut is all the hashtags you want. You can only put in up to 30 because if you're going to post it on Instagram, Instagram won't let you have more than 30. And then you're going to give it a name so that every time you type this word, all of these tags are going to come up. I always like to use a backsplash. It's not a backsplash. It's a forward slash, because if you use the forward slash, you're probably not likely to use that key. So I, for example, have one that's forward apply, forward WCR, forward fairway. So I have all these different hashtags for different things that I'm doing. I'm just going to show it to you really quickly. I would show you on my computer, but there's no such thing. Keyboard, text replacement. Can you guys see? Hang on. No, this isn't going to work. Okay, so I've got about 5 different text replacement keyboards, and I use them all the time because I use different hashtags for different things, so I never have to type them out. So if anybody wants a screen recording of how to do text replacement, I will go through it. I'll do a screen record on my cell phone and I'll text it or email it over to you guys after. But it has been a lifesaver because I used to sit there and type hashtag after hashtag after hashtag out. It was god awful. But using the text, I only do a forward slash in about 3 letters and I get about 30 hashtags perfectly typed to come out all at once. I do recommend, since there's no punctuation, to use a capital. So for example, like who, capital W, we, capital W, R, capital R, so that people can see what it says and it's not so much of a run-on, just aesthetically pleasing. It looks a little bit better. So I hope that answered your question, Gwen. Hi, Casey. How about you, John? You got anything for us?
No, nothing to do with hashtags or anything like that, but if this meeting is winding down, I know I mentioned this at the start of the meeting, but we did have a number of people join us since then. We are asking that, that people make RPAC contributions. If you haven't already done so, if you can make an additional one, that'd be great. We're very fortunate here in the state of Ohio that real estate was deemed an essential industry from the onset of all the COVID-19 restrictions. That is not true for every state, and that's still not true for every market out there. There are a lot of agents across the country who are not able to work, even if they're wearing gloves or masks or anything like that. They are on shutdown and lockdown. We have our RPAC contributions to Ohio Realtors to thank for that. They've been working, very hard at that from the get-go. So that is definitely something that we want to be thankful for. So if you are in a position to maybe donate some extra money, or maybe even just $20 is the minimum that we ask for, if you can do that, it goes a long way, and it really is appreciated. And thank you, Courtney, for your time today, and thank you for our community outreach and our professional development work groups at ACAR YPN for getting this organized today.
Yes, thank you all for having me. And I would just like to say, I know this was quick. We went through a lot very quickly. So if anybody needs anything, reach out to me, text, email, Facebook Messenger. I'm happier to get, set up a private Zoom and get higher level with you to help you understand. I do see, again, many of you who are already doing a tremendous job. So it's great. But if there's anything I can help you with or talk about, I am so happy to do that. And I'm grateful for the opportunity to be here with all of you today. So just one last thing, maybe a good thing to do for everyone who was here today would be to check in to the event and, I don't know, say something, one new thing, or let your database, or not your database, but your friends list know that you were learning things to continue to be a better realtor today, however you want to phrase it, hashtag home for all, hashtag ACAR YPN, what we talked about. That'd be great.